Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Love of Books, Movies, and Happiness. My name's April, and today is another book review. So, I really like books that make me feel something. Whether it's happy, scared, anger, and yes, sometimes you need a book that makes you feel angry to help just get that little bit of frustration out. But sometimes there's a book that will make you feel all of the emotions in one story. And those are the books that I really like, especially when I'm stressed. Because then it kind of gives me an outlet to help be like, okay, read this book, makes me feel everything. I can get all the emotions out, and just helps me de-stress. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I don't know. But that's me. So, one of the genres I like to read isn't really, can't say genre, but one of the types of books that I like to read is books based on historical events. And if they're written by someone who's experienced those historical events, then even better. And a lot of the books that I like to read that are based on historical events are going to be like World War II, books like The Book Thief and stuff like that have to do with the Jews and Auschwitz and places like that. I like reading the stories where they've triumphed, where they survive, they succeed. It's sad, it's terrifying, yet by the end, there's something good. Well, I came across a new author and a new book, to me at least. She's not new. Not sure when this was put out, but she's not new. But this is a story that I didn't know they did. Kind of does events that I didn't know they did back then. Because I know, of course, during everything that was happening in Poland and everywhere else for them, there was like the kinder train that took children to England and to the countryside. I knew about those, but I was not aware that there was a point in time where South Africa was looking for a certain number of children to help fill out families in South Africa and kind of boost South African population. I was not aware of this. So you learn something new every time you pick up a different book. So I picked up, and I'm going to flip the camera. There we go. The Girl from the Train by Irma Juber. I'm assuming it's a Juber, not Jubert. Usually the J is like a silent sound, or makes like a Z sound, and then the T is silent usually. So I do apologize if I'm saying this wrong. But that is how it's spelled, and I'll get you the side shot here. Ignore my car. Yeah, there's Irma. I found this at my local library. Shout out to all libraries. Just looking for something different to read. This is one that popped up. And I was like, hey, it sounds good. You've got I'll read the back of a book, but I tend to like flip to the first page. I'll skim the first page, and I might skim like sorry. Grab a drink real quick if I can get the cat hair off my coffee. I'll skim like the first page, and then I might flip to the very middle of the book and just do a quick skim on the middle of the book, just to see if it pulls me in. I never go to the end. I will not do that. But I'll do like the first page and maybe the middle, and if it pulls me in where I want to know what's actually happening, then I get the book to read it. This opens up with a train getting blown up. Actually, sorry, this opens up with children jumping off of a train. That had me pulled in from the very first. So then I had to read the book to find out what the heck was going on. Because you also get said train blowing up after the children jump off of it. So I had to find out what was going on. Will warn you, this will make you feel. If you have a heart, you're going to feel. Within the first chapter, actually first few pages, there is loss, sadness, and grief. It gets better, but it's there. It's just to warn you, you will feel with this book. But it's a very good book. So we meet Greta. Let me double check that, because now I'm second guessing myself. Gretel. Sorry. We meet Gretel when she is 6 years old. She is Polish Jew. And when we first meet her, she's in the process of jumping off of a train. She's supposed to meet her sister at the bottom of the hill she jumps off the train of. And then her mother and her grandmother are supposed to join her further down. At least that's what she believes. After she jumps off the train blows up due to a miscommunication. This was an unscheduled train carrying Jews to Auschwitz. And it wasn't supposed to be going by at that time. The Polish resistance thought that a troop and ammunition train was going to be going by the next day, so they had set up a bomb so that it could blow that up to keep that from getting to the enemy. Well, this unscheduled train full of Jewish people going to a death camp ended up getting blown up instead. So the mom and grandmother never made it off of, and sorry if you hear sirens in the background, they never made it off of the train. We find out from the older sister later on that there wouldn't have actually been room for them to squeeze through the space to jump off the train anyhow, and they just said that to reassure the children. Poor Gretel, within the first chapter, she's lost her mom, her grandma, and unfortunately, her sister ends up being very sick and not surviving as well. But Gretel does survive. She ends up, they get found by a farmer, gentleman, who takes them in, takes them back to his home to nurse them back to health. Fortunately, the sister does not survive. He then takes Gretel on to another family farm, where she ends up spending a few years. He is not... He's important to the story. His name is Mishka. Sorry, his name is Jacob. I apologize, I'm mixing up stories here. His name is Jacob Kowalski, and I'm saying that wrong. But he takes her to his family's farm, where, the plan is they're trying to figure out what she's going to do. She's not exactly welcome, simply because she's another mouth to feed. And she doesn't look Jewish. She looks German. According to the German standards back then, she looked more German. Apparently her father was in fact a German soldier. So she looked more like her father than her mother. Which is actually a good thing for her. Kind of helps her down the road a bit. So she ends up living on this farm with the family for a while. She learns how to work on the farm. She ends up finding a school unintentionally and kind of signing herself up for school so she can learn, where she's incredibly bright, so she learns quickly. At some point, though, the farm reaches the point where she can't stay there. They've made the decision, there's just not enough room, too many mouths to feed, she needs to go somewhere. So Jacob takes her into the city to an orphanage because he gets word that, through a newspaper, that there is a delegation from South Africa looking for Aryan children, which is like German children essentially, to 50 of them, 25 boys, 25 girls, to go to South Africa to get adopted to loving families to kind of help boost the population in South Africa. So, of course, she is technically Jewish, but she looks German. They have her birth certificate that says that she was born in a German hospital, and a picture of her father in his uniform and his death notice from the Germans saying that he was killed. So she can pass as German. And by this point, she's from the age of 6 up, she's had to lie about her identity. It's been a constant thing of, don't tell them you're Jewish, because that's dangerous. So for her, not saying she's Jewish again is part of it. So she gets to this adoption agency and ends up getting picked through a little self-determination on that part. She kind of pushed herself in front of them and made herself noticed. But poor Gretel ends up having to live a lie, Like, she can't tell anyone she's German or that she's Jewish. She can't tell anyone most of her story. They just know she's a German child, and yeah, she probably saw some events, but they don't know what she saw. She gets adopted, which is great, grows up with a loving family. It's just, the older she gets, the more it weighs on her that she's lived this lie. Then, of course, you have a classmate in like college or high school who wants to do a study on her about her past, and then she's fighting with the whole, do I tell him, do I not tell him? It becomes a huge thing. It becomes a really huge thing. And Jacob does reappear in her life. It does have a good ending. Mixed in with all this heartbreak and the sorrow, there is moments of amusement, laughter, and joy. Just like everyday life. You got your sadness, your anger, your joy. You follow a child who's gone through a lot. I do mean a lot. And she grows into a strong, resilient young woman who's confused. How much of her past does she reveal? How much is it okay to reveal? She has to figure that out. Alright, guys. I give this book a 4.9 stars out of 5. It doesn't give you a direct look at all the historical events, but it gives you everything that she's experienced. And I admit, it's a good story. The writing is excellent. You can tell it's from personal experience and well researched. The characters are good. The only thing for me is Jacob. The Jacob connection is the only thing where I don't give it 5 stars is just the Jacob as a character. He's a good character. I feel like I don't know. Wasn't a fan of him. It's my own personal thing though. He's a good guy. He turns into a good guy. It's based off of true events and that, and I get that. It's just Jacob as a character, I feel like could have been better. Other than that, though, it's a great book. I do not know if there's any other books by her or not. I will be actually looking. So if you have read this author before, and if you know of any other books, then please leave a comment and let me know. Because I will be looking for more books by her. And if you know of any other books similar to this one, then please, by all means, let me know. I will happily check them out and read them. I have read The Book Thief. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. I've read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Heartbreaking. Good story, but heartbreaking. Of course, I've read Anne Frank. I've read a few others, but leave me a message anyhow. You never know. I may come across one I haven't read yet that I'll happily pick up and read. Alright, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you like books like this that make you feel all the emotions? Do you read the books that are more based on like World War II and the Germans and the Jews and such? Or do you prefer other books? Let me know. And if you know of any books from this time frame that kind of do it from... Because don't get me wrong, I love reading from the Jewish point of view because they went through so much. But I also would like to see, not from a soldier's point of view, but I'd like to find some books from just normal German citizens from around that time, if anyone there wrote a book about their experiences and how they saw things. I'm curious on the different point of views. So if you know of any book like that, please leave a comment and let me know. Worst I could do is not like it. Alright, guys. Until next time, keep reading.